Another day of the Euros, another dramatic turnaround, and some more Balkan shenanigans. There was a lot that happened in Euros Day. I don't remember what day it was. The only way I can keep track of what day it was is because of the way I'm titling these videos one day at a time. But this is the day with Croatia, Albania, Germany, Hungary, and Scotland, Switzerland. And oh me, oh my, Albania, led by their, incredible, inspiring captain, Dua Lipa, continue to spice up this tournament. I mean, I don't know how you could not love a team like this. They're one of the teams that comes into this tournament that is supposed to be kind of at the bottom of the barrel. It's their second ever Euros, right? They don't have any notable stars. They got a couple guys playing in Serie A here or there, but so it's not, obviously they qualified. It's not like they're putting out 11 dudes that have never played before, but Croatia has been to the World Cup semifinals each of the last two World Cups. So you're looking at this on the initial schedule and you're thinking Croatia is probably going to have its way with Albania, but of course we were thinking about that in Albania's last match, and then they took a 1-0 lead and forced Italy to come from behind. And that's exactly what Albania did again in this match with another early goal. The 11 minutes into the game against Croatia, take a 1-0 lead, and everybody is vibing with Albania. Except this time, unlike the Italy match, Albania managed to hang on for a lot longer. They battened down the hatches. The fans were absolutely electric. They were electric almost to the point of it being problematic. I think I'm going to talk about that in another Zealandism video, so I'm just going to leave that to the side for now. But the atmosphere was absolutely tremendous. And then finally, eventually, Croatia manages to score a goal. Some pretty bad goalkeeping, some pretty bad defending, and Kramaric is able to tuck one kind of near post, and Albania finally breaks down in the 73rd minute. But Albania seemingly does not learn its lesson from this, because when you live by the vibes, you die by the vibes. That is the problem with the vibes. You can live by the vibes. You're Romania, you're hitting the ball from 30, 35 yards. You're Albania, you're balling out on pure adrenaline at the moment. But if you keep those vibes going and all of a sudden Croatia is starting to turn on the quality a little bit, then you're about to catch some hands. And that's exactly what happened to them. They got barbecued right down the left side in a not dissimilar fashion to the way they conceded the first goal. A pretty sharp cross, ended up, I believe, with Budimir, and then it just bounced around. One Albanian guy clears it, it hits another Albanian guy and goes into the back of the net. And all of a sudden you end up with 2 goals in 2 minutes to put Croatia in the lead. Now at that point, I'm thinking, we've already watched a really good match, an intense match, right? It does always get fun when the underdog scores first. That is just a surefire way to spice up a game like this. But now that Croatia has the lead, surely it has to be over. And there was a shot from Luka Modric, I think it was like 89th minute or something, that looked like it was going to go in and just ice it for Croatia. But Croatia was still sauntering forward and creating, sustained possession. And there wasn't a huge open window for Albania in this game. But they just managed to make one. One penetrating run down the left side, one accurate cross. The Croatian defense just completely loses Jasula, the same guy who, the own goal really wasn't his fault. He just had somebody clear the ball off him. But the same guy that was responsible for the own goal, a substitute who comes back and just polishes off a cross with like 90 seconds left in the game to give Albania the draw. It was, and I'm saying this a lot in this Euros, a really engaging, enthralling match. And unfortunately for Croatia, it means that they are in some absolutely massive danger. That's because Croatia is going to need to beat Italy on the final day. That's basically their only option. 2 points is just never going to be enough to get you to a knockouts, even if it does get you into third. Albania is probably also going to have to beat Spain, but I get the feeling Albania doesn't care as much, right? Like obviously Albania would love to go to the next round, but my goodness. Right, you had the lead against Italy. You managed to pull a last-second draw against Croatia. This was a group of death. I remember looking at this group with Spain, Italy, Albania, and Croatia and thinking Albania got screwed as hard as any team could possibly get screwed in this draw. You've got 3 of the 10 best teams in the world in Albania, in a Euros group. That just feels incredibly unfair to me, but Albania has made it work. They've had the lead in both matches that they've played, and even though they haven't been able to complete the victory, this is already the pinnacle of achievement for Albania. Albania has already done way more than anybody thought they were going to be capable of. Anything at all from Albania against Spain in the final match would also be considered a massive victory. If you're Albania, you're probably rooting for Spain to win so that maybe they rotate some players after picking up 6 points in their first 2 matches, and Albania might be able to snake something. But Albania and Croatia, because of this draw, now very likely both need to win against Spain and Italy if they want to have a chance to go to the next round. So it actually strangely might doom either of them or both of them. Croatia has the ability to win that match more than Albania does, but Albania is the country that gets the last laugh out of this match because, hell, they got a point. They got a point in a ridiculously difficult group, which brings us to the hosts, Germany. I predicted that their group was going to be fairly difficult. I thought that Hungary, Scotland, and Switzerland were all teams that could give a team like Germany that had been lacking in confidence, at least in major tournaments. They've been building momentum outside of major tournaments into this tournament specifically. But I thought those are the types of teams that could give them problems. But Germany's just better than the two teams they've played so far. And a lack of confidence has not shown itself. Germany's been buoyed by rampant home support, and in a game against a Hungary team that had to have it because Hungary lost to Switzerland. They've got their match against Scotland, I believe, in the final match day, which is going to be a do or die for both countries. We'll get to why later, but Hungary's got 0 points going into that, so they need the 3 points just to keep things going. They conceded early as well. Jamal Musiala, 22nd minute. Jamal Musiala is the best player in the world nobody gives a shit about. I mean, nobody. In these conversations that have to do with Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham, nobody ever brings up Jamal Musiala. But when I was watching this kid at the World Cup, right, and you like you watch him at Bayern. Admittedly, I feel like all of us don't watch Bayern as much as we would like to pretend that we do. But when I was watching Bayern specifically to see if they were going to lose the league, he was very clearly the best player on the field there. And we're talking about somebody that is just cresting into like 20s, his early 20s, and is the best player on the German national team. Just pretty evidently, like he is the creative force in the German national team. He is magic to watch run with the ball. He's really, really exciting and creative, and he can just make defenders vanish during his trip to the back of the net. And I think that this home tournament, that he could really take his stardom to another level and start getting in those conversations about, being one of the best players in the world. But I think when you watch him, particularly in the last two major tournaments with Germany, which is of course what everybody's always paying attention to, he looks like that already. Germany added a second goal, just passed him to death. Ilkay Gundogan finished it off. He had a massive game here. But Germany executed its game plan. And if Germany was going to play to the level that it can, Hungary was never going to be able to keep up, which leaves Hungary with a match against Scotland that is going to be nothing short of violent. And that's because Scotland played Switzerland. Now, I was on stream as this match started. I don't know why. I just felt like streaming in the middle of the day. And as the match started, to get asked what is my prediction for Scotland-Switzerland. And my answer is essentially that Switzerland is remarkable when it comes to not losing and usually beating teams that they're supposed to beat, but also losing to teams that they're supposed to lose to. Switzerland finds its level, top 20 team in the world, right? If you're worse than that, they're going to beat you, and they're definitely not going to lose to you. If you're better than that, they're very likely going to lose to you. They don't punch above their weight very well, but Scotland's a team that is below Switzerland. And so I went into this saying I would be absolutely shocked if Scotland won this game. So, of course, Switzerland sustains a bit of pressure, but then Scott McTominay gets a big heaping deflection off Fabian Schär into the back of the net. It was a really, really funny replay, actually, because you can see Swiss goalkeeper Jan Sommer looking at... He's behind the ball. He's going to save it. It's a pretty tame shot from McTominay. It's just a, put a ball on net sort of situation. And Schär just tries to block it for no reason and deflects it into the back of the net. You see Jan Sommer looking at him like... just screaming why at him almost because it just gifted Scotland a goal, which is exactly what they wanted. But Scotland looked really shaky. Scotland's definitely took a shot to the confidence after that game against Germany. Scotland's defense in particular looked really concerning. And there was a real nasty set of passes from Scotland that set up the Swiss equalizer. Because again, Switzerland was not going to lose this game. It's just not in their nature to lose a game to a team that's worse than them. And there was this passing combination that was just so baffling to me. It was like 3 consecutive Scottish players just couldn't make the ball sit down. 3 consecutive Scottish players just could not make the ball sit. It just wouldn't. And it's bouncing and it's bouncing and it's bouncing, and then one guy tries to play it back to the goalkeeper or make a pass, but because the ball's bouncing all over the place, he mishits it and hits it into the path of Xherdan Shaqiri, and I can't imagine a player on the face of the earth that you would want to hit that ball into the path of less, because of course Xherdan Shaqiri scores an absolute banger of a first-time shot from about 22 yards. Because the goalkeeper's out of position because he's not supposed to be in position because he's trying to participate in the buildup and he has to retreat and try and find a spot and then dive. And it's a great idea from Shaqiri to shoot that ball immediately. And then there was all sorts of crazy stuff happening. Switzerland scored, it felt like multiple goals that were disallowed. Switzerland had one or two just brilliant chances to score goals in this game, but Scotland gutted it out. When Switzerland scored, I was sure Scotland was going to lose this game, but that draw keeps Scotland alive. And what it does is it means that with a point, if Scotland beats Hungary, it will have 4 points and definitely go to the knockouts of the Euros. So this is a knockout match. 2 points, very unlikely to send you to the knockouts in the way this format is set up. So you probably need the 4, which it's winner take all between, Scotland and Hungary. Where Switzerland is now sitting on 4 points, they're basically safe going into their match against Germany. And in that match, if, Germany decides they want to, Germany can't really rest players because if they lose, then they lose being the top team in their group in terms of the seeding. But Germany will probably rotate a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a draw in the Switzerland-Germany match. But all eyes in this group will now be on Scotland and Hungary. A draw favors Scotland, but they'll need a ton of things to go their way on 2 points in order to actually make it through. But another absolute banger of a Euros day. I'll see you tomorrow.